So, Hell Sky, this is Ritual Butcher from Archgoat. See you guys at the Tampa Morgue.
What's up? This is Tony, and you're listening to the Tampa Morgue Season 2, Episode number 89. And as always, I'm joined by my co-host from his studio deep in Tampa Bay, Florida, Mr. Ed Webb. What's up, Webb?
Mr. Anderson, what is going on, brother?
Not much, man. Doing good. Another week, another episode. We're keeping the beast fed that we call the Tampa Morgue. We just opened up the show with some Archgoat, Messiah of Pigs from the Luciferian Crown record that came out in 2018. And we're going to be joined tonight by Ritual Butcher from Archgoat, a guitar player. So we'll get to him probably in about 20 minutes or so. As we always say, we're going to try to keep the intro short, but it doesn't ever seem to happen that way. But how you doing, man?
Good. Killed me a rat.
We had some emails about your rats. I just want to let you.
I got one. I'll put it up on the Instagram if anybody wants to see it, little motherfucker. Thing was, I didn't know I got him because I set some traps, and I went out there yesterday, and I just went to kick the trap, so I went to pick it up, and the motherfucker was in it. Never even saw him, and it freaked me out, dude. I literally looked like a little bitch because I was caught off guard. You know what I mean? But then once I saw it, I was like, ah.
Was he chewing on any of your stuff?
Dude, they've been chewing on. Well, they ate through my fucking bag of dog food out there. I didn't see it, so that's how they've been eating, motherfuckers. And then we got this foam stuff that you put on walls, and you can put it on there for. It goes on some stuff for electrical stuff, and when they build houses, and they've been chewing on that. So yeah, so I had to clean all that shit up, but I buried him. I was nice. I didn't throw him in the trash can. I buried him.
Yeah, we did get a couple emails about the rats.
I got one.
Yeah, and you got
Even one. Bryce was shocked. Bryce didn't believe me. He thought I fucking AI'd it. I was like, no, dude, I'll take you out there if you want to see where I dug it. But yeah, he's gone. Bye-bye. Bye, Mickey.
So it's a good week so far. And we have a busy week, me and you. We're doing, we have this episode today. I think we're back tomorrow recording again. Next week, we're going to have the guys from Heimland on, from Norway. I just saw them probably 2 weeks ago, right? I saw them with Talk A and Asagram over in Lithuania. Killer band, man. They opened up the show, and I was talking to them a little bit, and they're going to come on, and it's going to be a band that we actually don't really know much about at all. Like usually when we have these bands come on, we've known them or their history and stuff. This is a band that's pretty much brand new to me. And so it's going to be interesting. Like I said, usually, Ed, our guests, we pretty much like kind of have a background. This will be one of the first ones we don't have.
Agreed. I mean, maybe a couple of the Tampa bands that
Yeah,
we
the
did
younger
for the
bands that we
Swarm
didn't know.
Fest, we didn't know about, or like the South Carolina band.
Oh, Interceptor, yeah, who just
yeah,
they put out a new record too.
So, but I mean, this is a little different. We kind of had some time to listen to their stuff, and this was kind of quick.
Yeah, I went to the show, and I was like, I started thinking when I was at the show, I was like, I don't. They would actually open the gig, and I was like, I don't know this band at all. It was definitely a killer set. And I said to myself, I said, you know what? Let's get them to come on, talk to them. They got back from tour last week. Spoke to them this week. So we have Carl and Eric from the band coming on. So that'll be next week's episode. Like I said, we have Ritual Butcher tonight from Archgoat, which should be a great episode. Killer band, 36-year history. It's definitely excited about that one. And Ed, so I have a releases tonight. I think both of us said we have no shows, right?
I'm unaware of any shows that are coming.
Yes, same here. I didn't see shit. I looked a little bit before the show. A couple news-wise, I didn't see too much. I feel like we just did a show probably was like 5 days ago. We did our last show where we had Ronnie Palmer on from Malevolent Creation and a bunch of other bands, which we'll talk about before we end this segment of some of our past episodes. So Cannibal Corpse announced the 2025 tour with Municipal Waste and Fulci, October and September. No Florida dates.
They just played here. That's probably why.
I was thinking that too. They just were here. You just saw them last week?
I didn't go. I wasn't at the show.
Oh, that's right. You didn't go.
I saw them with them on a Marth a couple months before.
Yeah, so they're doing that tour. It starts in Nashville, 29 dates. I saw some of the dates they were playing. It was Tennessee, Texas, Kentucky, New York, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, Alabama, California, a bunch of others, but no Tampa date. I also saw Suffocation announce a tour with Carnifex, Devourment, Distant, Body Box, and Monochromatic Black. That's June and July. They're going to do a solo show in Pensacola, Florida, June 30th at a venue called Handlebar. Ed, you toured with Suffocation, didn't you?
I've done shows with them, never a tour. But
did you guys do a cruise with them?
We did. They were on the cruise. We played Costa Rica with them. We've done. We played Maryland Death Fest. I mean, we've done a ton of big shows. Like we always seem to catch up with them while they're doing festivals and stuff. But yeah, that's weird. No tours, which would have been cool. I mean, a Massacre, Suffocation tour would have been killer, and or a Monstrosity Suffocation tour would be killer too. I think that would.
Hopefully, you guys will be doing. You guys got the new record coming out. Hopefully, we'll be seeing some Monstrosity out there soon.
Yeah, you probably know more than I do.
I know you're chomping at the bit, man, to get out there. But so like I said, no shows. We're gonna try for once to keep this at a certain. We always say this and we go 30 minutes deep, but we're gonna try to make this about 20-minute intro, maybe. And we'll come back at the end, and that's how we always do things. So Ed, I do have. I guess I'm going to do, I had some deaths sent to me. A couple that we actually announced last week too. Actually a local guy, from a band that we know from the local area that we've played with before. Matt Howland from Beowulf, the guitar player, passed away last week. We mentioned Brian Montana, the guitarist for Possessed from the 85 death metal demo, who died last week also. And I also have Lars Linden from Carnal Forge, passed away, the bass player, colon cancer.
Yep.
54 years old. I don't know if you heard about that.
I did. I saw him. I was following his thing. I guess they thought he was getting a little better, but unfortunately, cancer. I'm dealing with that right now with my wife and her, I guess it would be her cousin. He was in prison, metalhead dude. I mean, he just kept getting in trouble. He would get out and go back to prison, but he wound up having cancer and AIDS, which is crazy. And I think the AIDS was from needles. He was doing drugs. I mean, he was a fucking drug addict. But which sucks, you know, because he's not a bad dude. It's just when you fall down that path, it is what it is. But they weren't taking care of him in jail. My aunt petitioned, or her aunt petitioned, and he's staying at her home right now, which is just 2 minutes from my house. And supposedly he's having a party this weekend, but I guess he's like starting to get delirious and from the cancer. And I mean, suppose I haven't seen him. He wanted to, you know, he had asked if I would let him hear some new music, and I'm like, I probably guess I could, since you know, who's he going to tell? You know, and I might do that. I might do that because we're supposed to go over there Saturday for his birthday. Hopefully, he makes it that far. But yeah, cancer doesn't wait for anybody. I mean, my mom had it. It's not what she passed away from, but she was fighting it. So, you know, it's when you get it in areas like your pancreas or colon or your, you know, your stomach, like Ronnie James Dio, so there's just nothing you can do. It just
They said with
sucks.
Dio, if he would have actually like went early in his life
Yeah,
and got
they
checked,
said
he
he
would have
could have got fixed. Yeah, man, or I at least tried to catch it. But there's been a bunch of people like that they were in pain but refused to be seen, and you know, as a matter of fact, I go Friday for blood work, and then I see my doctor next week, and I know what he's going to tell me. Hey, buddy, you're at that age where we got to go in and, you know, open up your asshole and take a good look in there and see how you're doing.
And you know what happens when you go to like, you don't go to the doctor for like 50 years, 30 years, you're okay. It's right when you go to the doctor is like when shit starts falling apart, you know?
Yeah,
It's
well,
like,
I go, you know, I'm scheduled twice a year for blood work, twice a year to see him, and you know, obviously I see him when I'm sick or whatever, but yeah, I make sure that I stay on top of it because, you know, I'm at that age where I think if my parents would have been a little more on top of their health early on, you know, they might have caught it, whatever issues led to, you know, down the line. But you take yourself for granted, man. That's why I'm at the gym 5, 6 days a week. You know, I'm just trying to stay healthy. Like
yeah,
you,
I had
you're a
my,
fucking nut.
yeah, I'm very, Ed knows I'm pretty much like, I get pretty serious when it comes to trying to stay healthy, especially when now that I have two little kids. I did get checked this year because when you know, with my business, I had to go for some blood tests and stuff. And I was worried, man. I'll be honest. Like, I was like, oh no, this is usually, you know, but I got decent news. So knock on wood, everything is okay to this point, you
That's
know,
what they
so.
do, man. I mean, at Christmas, remember I had to go in, I got that heart scan. And when I Googled the results, it was like, it, it was borderline not good. And I was like, but when I talked to the doctor, he's like, yeah, no. He goes, did you get a phone call? I was like, no. He goes, exactly. If it was a problem, I would have been on the phone with you. So,
We always talk about at our ages now, like, you know, we've been around for a while, and every time you look, someone else is dropping. It sucks, man. You know, so
yep.
it's a reality though. I also have one more to announce too. Alexander Oleg Indranov from Ukraine was killed in the war. Unfortunately, you know, obviously his country was invaded, and he died this week. Also, a young guy, vocalist of the band Infected Dreams. So that just sucks, you know. I mean, we talked about it a few episodes too ago. Just a shitty situation there. So that's our the musicians who passed away this week. Ed, I guess I don't know what releases you have. I'll bang through my releases. You can say what you got, and then we'll get Ritual Butcher on here from Archgoat,
Let's do it.
and we'll close out the show like always
All right.
after
So
the interview.
you got 7, 8 minutes and 10 seconds. Go.
I think I could do this, ready, without fucking it up. Let's see. Uh, Chainsword from Poland, a death metal band. EP Chapter 12, label Gods of War Productions out of Poland. Chainsword formed in 2016, put out the band's debut album Blight March in 2021. Chapter 12 has 7 tracks. It comes out May 6th. Persecutor from Romania, black heavy metal band. Vlad But True is the name of the EP. The Blues Funeral Recordings is the name of the label. They put out a debut demo in 2014 titled Arctic Cross. Vlad But True is the follow-up to 2023's Snow Business. Persecutor has members past and present of Death Crux, White Wizard, Lightning Swords of Death, and Idols of Gemini. Vlad But True comes out May 9th. Pyromancer out of Kentucky, black death metal band. Absolute Dominion by Fire is the name of the record label. Adirondack Black Mass out of Canada. Pyromancer put out a demo in 2015, a split with Perversion out of Michigan in 2024. Members of Altars of Suffering and Tombstalker. Absolute Dominion has 12 tracks and will be out May 9th. And again, these will not be in order, Ed. Unfortunately, they never are. A band that you may remember too, Ed, Demonacy from Belford, New Jersey.
Yep.
Death metal band. Grotesque Treasures is the compilation they're putting out. They've been broken up for a while. Formed in 1990. Put the first demo in 1991, which was called From Within. Then they put out Therapeutic Morbidity EP in 1992. Comp has 12. Let me see here. Okay, so the compilation has tracks from the 1994 promo, their 7-inch, and a 1991 demo, and some live tracks from 94. That comes out May 7th. Elusive God from Croatia. Title Ambus is the name of this one. Personal Records out of Mexico is the label. Elusive God formed in 2018. They put out a Darkest Flame EP in 2020. Put out a full length in 2022 called Trapped in the Future Unknown. They also put out a live album in 2023. Members past and present of Flesh, Maniac Butcher, Master's Hammer, Krieg, and Soundbringer. This one comes out May 9th. Slumbering Sun out of Texas, doom metal band. Starmony is the name of the record. Label, it's actually self-released. Formed in 2020. Debut album came out in 2023. And this one has 7 tracks, and this one comes out May 9th. Postmortal out of Poland, funeral doom band. Profundus Ominous is the name of this record. And Aesthetic Death at the UK is the label. Band formed in 2016, put out an EP in 2018, 4-way split in 2018. This one comes out May 9th. Let's see what else we have here. Hellspawn out of Poland, death metal band. Euphoris, Stories of My Multitude is the name of this one. Old Temple Records out of Poland. Hellspawn formed in 2003. First demo in 2005. Debut full-length Children of Hell in 2010. Stories of Multitude will be the band's 4th full-length. They also put out a split in 2006 and an EP in 2021. The upcoming release has 9 tracks and comes out May 10th. Malefaction out of Winnipeg, grind death metal band. Rebirth is the name of this one. It's going to be self-released. The band formed in 1991. First demo came out, Humanity Suffers, in 91. They put out their debut full-length, came out in 95. Rebirth is the band's 5th full-length, and this one comes out May 10th. Blaze the Thunder out of LA, metal punk band. The Bewildered Herd is the name of this one, self-released. They put out an EP in 2017 titled Tonight the Revenge Starts. They put out a debut full-length. This is Blaze the Thunder in 2020. And this one will come out on May 11th, and that's Blaze the Thunder out of Los Angeles. And I got a few more, and then we'll see what you have, Ed, and then we'll get Ritual Butcher on here from Archgoat. I have a few. The next one is For the Pyres from Sweden, death metal bands. The name of the record is At the Pyres of Sin on Gruesome Records out of Portugal. For the Pyres formed in 2019, put out the first demo, Hymns of Deception, in 2020. At the Pyres of Sin is the band's debut full-length. It's available May 9th. Abysmal Rites from Finland, sludge doom metal band. Restoring the Primadoral Order is the name of this one. Label Wormhole Death out of Italy, formed in 2021. Debut full length came out in 2023. Nihilism is Realism is the name of that full length that came out. This one has 7 tracks, and it will be out on May 9th. And Blasphema Christ, which is a black death metal band from Brazil and Canada. Title of the record is going to be B-Style Abominator. Label Nuclear War Now Productions. Formed in 2017 by members of Goat Penis, Antichrist, and Blasphemy. They put out a demo in 2018 titled Black Metal Warfare, and the full length Bastardizing the Purity in 2020. And this one comes out May 15th on Nuclear War Now. And that's what I have. What do you have, Ed, on your end?
Goat Penis. Goat
a
Penis.
Great band, man. I mean,
I know every time you say that, though, I think, man, I wish I would have came up with that name. It's a great name. a killer band, man, that I've always dug. The band Hate.
Yeah, from
You know
Poland.
who they are? I think they're from Poland, right?
Yep. Just saw them here, probably 2019, actually.
Yep. Bellum Regis is the name of the record. I heard it at the gym this morning, and it was what you would expect. It's fucking fast, heavy. Them, Vader, all the Polish bands, man. They're just, maybe I got something because I'm Polish, so maybe that's why I like them. But
And if you remember, they were supposed to play at the Orpheum. I think we talked about that the last episode, but they couldn't get their visas. They were on that tour with Belfagor.
Yep, they were. You're 100% correct. I have seen them though, and they do put on a killer show. They're brutal, but so is Vader. All of them. I mean, we saw no, you
Behemoth.
Behemoth, with Cannibal at Janus
Tribulation.
Landing.
That was
fuck, man. I mean, I've seen Behemoth a bunch of times, but that particular show, they fucking just absolutely murdered.
That was Tribulation and Cannibal. I just can't remember what damn tour that was.
It had to be 18 or 19.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Something like that, man, because it was badass, man. But yeah, another band that I dig a lot. It's all the pretty much ex-members of In Flames, the Halo Effect. They did the cruise that we did last year, and they were fucking killer. I mean, I dig their stuff. It doesn't, people are like, oh, it sounds like In Flames. It's actually better, in my opinion, because the singer's really good, the band's really killer, and I dig the album March of the Unheard. Definitely, I would check it out. And another band, I believe they're German, if I'm not mistaken. Heaven Shall Burn. I remember when I heard their first record. Everybody's like, "Oh, it's metalcore." I like them. I think they're great.
I don't know if I've heard of the name, but I don't know if I've ever actually heard them before.
You should check them out because they're definitely heavy, fast. For the most part, they're just one of those bands that just crush. I know a lot of people that were like, man, I didn't expect it when I heard it. And I was like, yeah, exactly. They're one of those bands that fall into that all shall perish, that metalcore genre, but I don't think they should be put there. But the name of the record's called Confounder. And sounded killer. I mean, what you expect if you're a fan of Heaven Shall Burn, you will not be disappointed. But that's it. That's what I got.
Yeah, there we go, man. And
we're a minute over, buddy. Sorry, we fucking failed.
I figured we were going to, and we're going to fail about 2 more minutes here too. So before we get Ritual Butcher on from Archgoat, whoever doesn't listen to, if you haven't listened to us before, you can always go back and listen to all of our past episodes. We've been doing this.
The Tampa Morgue, all the past episodes. Yes, Dave Austin from Nasty Savage. I'm going to do it, dude. I'm just going to do a fucking intro.
We hit it. That's it. One, dude, because I have a list right here I'm going to bang out, and I want to see how long this takes me, Ed. So I skipped a bunch. So we have a lot of shows. This is number 89. But so this will give you a kind of a general idea of who's been on the show. You can always go back and listen anywhere that podcasts are streamed. We also put the audio up on YouTube. YouTube has not been friendly with us because we have no videos, but you can always find the audio if you don't have streaming services. But I'll go through some of the old guests so you guys get an idea who we've had on the Tampa Morgue. Number 4, Pat from Hellwitch. Number 6, Vincent Crowley. Episode number 8, Bobby Gustafson from Overkill, Pain Ward, and Satan's Taint. Number 10, Lord Aramon from Dark Funeral. Episode 13, Blaine Cook from The Accused, Toe Tag, and Accused AT. Episode 14, David Howard Thornton from Terrifier 1, 2, and 3, Art to Clown. Episode 18, Dave Austin from Nasty Savage. Episode 19, John Gallagher from Raven. Episode 23, Paul Speckman from Master. Episode 26, Alvar from Cunt Knuckles, Reaper Mancer, Ejecutator, Caveman Cult. Episode 27, Dovidus from Crypts of Despair, Luctus out of Lithuania. Episode 28, Carl Kennedy from The Rods. Episode 29, Jim and Pat from Morbid Saint. Episode 31, Dawn of the Dead from Nunslaughter and Satanic Threat. Episode 32, Dave Greger from More to Scold. Episode 33, Kyle Thomas from X-Order, Floodgate, and Trouble. Episode 35, Snowy Shaw from King Diamond, Notre Dame, Merciful Fate, Dimmu Borgir, and a bunch of others. Episode number 36, Dallas Toller Wade from Nile, Narcotic Wasteland. Episode 38, Blood Serpent from Vietnam. Episode 39, Jamie Bailey from Brodequin and Liturgy. Episode number 40, Harry Quokinen from Hooded Menace, Horse Latitudes, and Hail Conjurer. Episode 41, Mike Pucciarelli from Raped Ape. Anybody from Florida back in the day will remember that band. Episode 42, our own Ed Webb. If you want to find out more about Ed, go to episode 42. Episode 43, Ryan Waste, Bat, Municipal Waste, and Vulture. Episode 46, Lee Payne, Club and Hoof. Episode 49, Chris Reifert, Autopsy, Violation, Wound, Abscess, and Death. Episode 50, Gene from Perdition Temple, Angel Corpse. Episode 51, Bloody F Mess. Very interesting episode. Anybody who's a G.G. Allen fan, a lot of G.G. Allen stories there. Episode 54, Mystic Circle. Episode 55, one of my favorites, King Fally from Deceased, October 31. Episode 56, Mike Deanna from Boiled Angel, a man who was arrested for his artwork in relation to the killings over in Gainesville from Bundy. And let me see here. Oh, episode 57, Henry from God Dethroned. Episode 58, Tomas from Wolfheart out of Finland. Episode 60, Witch Trap from Colombia. Episode 61, Tony Dolan from Venom Inc. and Adam Craft. Episode 62, the one and only Udo from Accept. Episode 65, Glenn Destructor from Australia's Destructor. Episode 67, Nick Goodyear from Swarmfest, Passive Possession, and Promethean Horde. Episode 69, Count Gordeval, one of the original Creature Feature hosts. We've had him on a few times, friend of the show. Always appreciate the old Count. Episode 71, Jesse Jolly from Malevolent Creation, Examon, and a bunch of others. Episode 74, Martin Missy from Protector. Episode 72, Alan Howarth. He's made a lot of music for movies. Escape from New York, Halloween, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Big Trouble in Little China, and that's just a few to mention. Episode 77, Jeff Manis for Venom. That was like we always tell everybody, that was a long episode. That's 5 hours, but a lot of Venom info. Episode 79, JC and Rar from the Mexican band Phantom. They just had a new album come out last week. Now, episode 80, Rob from Lucifericon and Destroyer 666. Episode 82, Luisma from Hemorrhage and Depopulation Department. Episode 83, John Walker from Cancer. Episode 84, Revik from Mordic Red. Episode 85, Yarno from Urn, Graves, and Barathrum. 87, John Barry from Slaughter Messiah, Nocturnal Ancient Rites. And the last episode last week, episode 88, Roddy Palmer from Malevolent Creation, Blood Messiah, Promethean Horde, Destined to Ruin, and a bunch of others. But, Ed, that's a long list, and that's not even all the shows. That's just some of the ones I highlighted. So, yeah, you can always go back and listen to old ones. You can always check us out on Instagram and contact us at thetampamorgue@gmail.com. That's a long. We got to make a promo commercial for this because this is getting to be too much, man. It's just too much shit. I get halfway through and I'm like,
dude, it's crazy. It's like you're sitting here saying the names, and I'm just like, it's crazy to think that we had all those people on here.
Yeah,
like some of them are so long ago, like Pat from Hell Witch and Vince and them guys.
That was our first interview on the show.
Yeah, they were the early ones.
Yeah, our first 3 shows were just bullshit shows of us figuring out what the hell we were doing. And, Pat was our first. So, so Ed, I say we get Ritual Butcher set up and get him on here. Should be, like I said, we'll come back at the end like always and say goodbye to everybody. But what do you got? Anything else or you want to get him on?
Let's do it.
Okay, we're going to bring on Ritual Butcher from Archgoat. But first, we're going to play from the Apocalyptic Triumphator from 2015. This is Nuns, Cunts, and Darkness. We'll be back on the Tampa Morgue with Ritual Butcher after this track. And that was Archgoat with Nuns, Cunts, and Darkness from 2015. And we are joined by Ritual Butcher. First of all, man, we want to thank you for hanging out with us today.
Thank you for the invitation.
Oh, man, how's everything going? I know you're over in Germany.
Yeah, I'm a little bit like stuck here now, almost 7 years.
7 years. Wow. How's you guys getting the spring weather now, or are you guys still in the cold?
Well, compared to Tampa, it's cold. Compared to Finland, it's warm.
You and your brother were born in Turku in
That's correct.
73?
Yep.
Right.
And 4th of July to be exact.
And what is that, like 2 hours from Helsinki?
It's roughly 2 hours, correct.
Okay. So I'm going to start out from the beginning before you were in bands and anything like that. But so when you were a kid, like I heard that, you know, your mother was into rock music, right? Like Iron Maiden, AC/DC, and Kiss and stuff. What is the first piece of music that you remember hearing as a kid?
I think maybe the Four Seasons from Vivaldi. That was also the kind of music she was playing to us when we were young.
And she used to give you guys cassette tapes?
But it's, yeah, cassette tapes and then later vinyls. But the first, these kind of game changers were the two cassettes, Kiss and Iron Maiden.
Was it Power Slave?
Yeah, Power Slave and Rock and Roll Over from Kiss.
Do you remember the actual first record that you purchased on your own?
I'd love to remember, but no.
That's okay. That's cool, man. What were some of the music stores you were visiting as a kid, as a teenager, in Finland?
They were typical in our city of Turku where we were going, and then there was Comeback Records, which was this really underground like vinyl shop. They had also Comeback Records, and they did stuff for Xysman, everything, bands like Funebre, and we basically lived there. Always after school, we went to hang in there, listen to the what demos, what LPs, cassettes the guy had there, and then it basically we burned all our money there.
And you know, when you're listening to like AC/DC and Maiden and stuff, what's the next step? Is it like Slayer?
I think it wasn't so dramatic. It was after Kiss to get little bit, well, Venom and Power Slave. This was something that, and Celtic Frost with Morbid Tales, the albums that really kind of took it to another direction, and not alone from being kind of killing all the harmonies, but as well as bringing really kind of morbid philosophy with them in music. So these were the kind of big that you have already one band talking about death and everything, which was Celtic Frost, then with Venom, Satan, and everything. So these were the bands that really I get to hear before I got into a Slayer, and this kind of, yeah.
And Venom, that was 85. The Possessed was the first album you heard from Venom?
I think it was 85 exactly.
And what was the first concert you actually attended?
Must have been some local bands in our vicinity, but the bigger band which I ever got to see, I still remember, was Nuclear Assault playing in Helsinki, I think mid to late 80s.
You know, we actually had a couple weeks ago, we had Yarno on, Sulfur from Earn, and we were talking about some of the radio stations you guys had back then. Were you listening to Klaus Fleming and stuff like that, or dubbing? Because you guys used to have a lot of like local metal shows on the radio.
I think in this, to my knowledge, there was only this Metal Union, Metalliliitto with Klaus Fleming, and this was something that I think still I remember. It was always on Wednesdays from 7 o'clock or something, and always we were listening to music, the recording all the songs and everything. There, for example, I first time heard Burzum.
Were you also starting to get into like the zines and stuff like that? Because you guys had like what Gates of Destruction, and you guys had a bunch of zines from your area. Did you start reading those as a teenager also?
These magazines, you mean?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. It was so kind of close knitted scene that you had some guys playing in the band, some guys had their small labels like Silent Souls and this, and then the some guys making thinners bands from other guys. So in the end, when I'm looking the small circle from where I started to play, that if we would make a 20-kilometer radius, we had bands like Sysma, Funebre, Disgrace from the same, and us, of course, from the same small area.
And you were doing the tape trading also?
Yeah, a lot of it.
And so when did you actually first pick up a guitar?
Was 14 years old. I got my first guitar from my parents. Obviously, I couldn't then afford to buy it, and got it from Soho, from London. It was Epiphone Stratocaster. I think, yeah, I was 14 years, so it was something like 80, 87 or so.
And are you self-taught or did you get lessons?
Both. When I started the first few years, I took lessons, and after that, for 30 years, I didn't take. Then the last years when I was in Finland, I was really going to one really capable music teacher, and with him and kind of getting motivation from the progress, I really started to also to play with metronome and start to learn something little kind of this philosophy or the structure behind the music. But I saw it's kind of good way to also bring something else than just elements that sound like a car crash to our music.
And was Angel Slayer, who was your brother, obviously, was he also like about the same time getting into instruments? And did he start at guitar also?
Yeah, we started at the same time.
And who are some players? Like I know you're like what an Yngwie fan, and of course like the old Kiss records and stuff. Or who were some guitar players that as a kid you were looking at and like kind of taking interest in?
I think obviously a duos from Iron Maiden and Judas Priest, they were kind of head above all the other guys. So they were something that I really like. But then also Slayer duo, because their playing was so different from anybody else. They were playing so fast guitar leads that on that time period, myself, I hadn't heard anybody play in this way. So myself, I'm a big Kerry King fan since I was a small guy. Because of the Kerry King, I played with this nail bracelet for even still today, and played with BC Riches. So I think, yeah, when speaking myself and guitar heroes, I have to always mention Kerry King.
And I would guess your first band, right, is what? You were in a band. Was it like 87?
I was in death metal band, and we started basically half a years later when I got my guitar. So we started to with the guy who started with Archgoat. We started to together try to play death metal, and we did it for I think almost 1 year.
And that was Blood Desecrator, who was the early drummer for the band.
Yeah,
And your brother was in a grindcore band too at the same time, right? A separate band?
yeah. There was he played grindcore with some other guys, and we had in our heads that ideas that it would be nice to try something, but they had their things going on. We had our things, and it's kind of I think his band was uh, dismantled or something, whatever. And then we kind of decided that hey, now we have a good point to little bit uh, make the frames of this painting empty and start from the zero and make a really band what we want it to have or to be.
And the band with you and Blood Desecrator, that was in Bomber?
Yeah, exactly.
And you started like at that age, you're starting to get more into like you said, the Celtic Frost. You're a Carcass guy too, right? And Slayers and stuff. Are you starting to find the interest into the satanic philosophy about that time period?
Absolutely, and the bands that really kind of got us on this way. I think before everybody else, I would mention that Possessed, then Old Slayer, and Venom were the bands because these lyrics were so direct about drinking blood and killing virgins and whatever, and they were so different. Holy hell, death to you, God is dead, drink his blood, and this kind of stuff. So we really started to uh, get interested. This is not allowing evil music, but as long the atmosphere is so different from everything else. So we started from these kind of elements to study this philosophy and ordering books from the States.
Yeah, and they were hard. So those books were hard to get in Finland because you were ordering from what, Occult Emporium?
Exactly. For Occult Emporium, we ordered the books, and it was even then at that time difficult to find these American bookstores or addresses and then send your money there and hope that you would get something back.
And you had said, you know, you were doing a death metal band, but you guys, so when you get together with your brother and Blood Desecrator, you guys decide to totally do something totally opposite, right? Because at that time in Finland, it was mostly a death metal underground going on.
Yeah, we had this kind of how would you say in modern word kick-off meeting in a way that we sat around a table with beers in our hand, and we really kind of started the discussion that hey guys, now it's day zero. Now we three are here around this table. What do we in which direction do we want to take our music? And the first question which we ask, do we make death metal, grindcore, or black metal? And we all at the same time thought that there's no other music of this kind of musical interest for us than to do black metal.
And you guys, I thought what was so you guys at that time, you guys formed Archgoat, which is actually like, you know, in the States we actually pronounce it a little different. A lot of people pronounce it Archgoat, but it is actually Archgoat, right?
That's correct. We asked from our friends from uh, what for English band, and they told that it's Archbishop, and everything outside Archbishop is Arch. So they kind of corrected because for us it was unclear, and it's kind of in the end not relevant, but
And the band name represents the Archangel of Darkness.
exactly, yeah.
Okay. And I had heard it. I don't know. It was an interview from probably like 10 years ago. So you guys made us. I don't think it was you actually that made a statement that a black metal musician is not important. It's the message that's important.
Absolutely, for me and for us in this band, it's been always that we do this band philosophy first, and music comes follows the philosophy. If and that is the only philosophy you can use or implement if you play black metal, because black metal was created to be philosophical music. You have a religion behind it, and then you put the instruments. But with the years and everything, when things softened and mellowed, people started to understand black metal as a music instead of lifestyle.
And also, when you guys first formed Archgoat, like it was to create something that belong. It was like something that you created for yourself and an outlet as an extension of the band members.
This is exactly, we wanted to create such a prototype of band that had everything what we wanted, regardless what other people thought about it. For us, it was kind of, in a way, to say cherry picking, speed from Napalm Death, tempo changes from uh, old Carcass, then you have the groove from Celtic Frost, the images and everything from Possessed and Venom. And in a way, we wanted to put all these bands into the blender and use the most ugly parts of everything.
And so I know you guys, the Temple of the Blackmoon is actually the rehearsal space where you guys record a lot of stuff at. So through the interview, we're going to talk about this room. But were the early rehearsals, did they take place right away at the Temple of the Blackmoon when you guys first start rehearsing?
No, no, they didn't. For us, the first rehearsal places where we were playing were garage of our Elton's parents. Sorry, so we were playing in basically starting as a garage band.
Okay. And what was the first Arco song ever written?
Uh, Black Messiah.
So, okay, yeah, we're actually going to play that tonight too. And the logo. So the logo was actually originally designed by Turka Rotinen.
No, it was the original logo was done by our drummer Blood Desecrator. So he drew the letters like they are even still today, and then took the old Baphomet, Elias Levi Baphomet head, and cut it from the picture, glued it on our logo, and this is a logo with which we started.
Okay. And so that was the design on the Jesus Spawn demo.
exactly. And then came along this Turkka, whom you mentioned, and he redid our logo. He used a different font for these letters, which we hated, but he did the goat head. And my brother took the pencil, improved the goat head little bit, and then we took our drummer's letters, Turkka's goat head, glued them together, and still we have it today.
And when you and your brother, Angel Slayer, are growing up together, are you guys pretty much into the same records, into the same music? Is it pretty much you guys, you guys had the same interests musically?
At the beginning and for the first 20 years, basically, yes.
And, you know, the Finnish underground about this time, because you're about what? At this, you're about 15, 16 at this time period. What do you remember? Like, because you guys kind of did your own thing, right? You guys didn't fit in. You were kind of, which actually goes to which I was going to ask you about the vocals that you guys use. Vocals are different than a lot of the black metal bands because you were doing it before there was like that, I don't know what you call it, that typical vocal that you expect to hear now when you hear black metal bands. You guys were, your guys' vocals were before that. When you first started in the underground there, did you guys stick out? Like, the, you didn't fit in with the rest of the bands, I should say?
I think we stuck out in many different ways because myself, I've been kind of now thinking that I don't know even where the bands before us who played black metal with such low vocals. I don't even know, but we were among the first one, and always on this kind of musical world, you have this kind of scene police who wants to kind of put everybody online and kind of kill creativity. And this was something what we faced. Then also we started to play in C or B standard tuning that was totally different. And then with this kind of tuning to put this speed. So the bands in our area, none of the band kind of did it in the same way as like us. And it's kind of there were people who were really kind of thinking that it's great there are bands doing their own stuff, and then you had this typical people who turned out to be keyboard warriors that kind of cannot bring anything to the table but just to open their mouth.
Definitely. And you guys, the first demo you guys do is 91. You guys do 6 tracks and it's recorded at Music Box Studios in South Finland. And you guys had 2 days to do the demo?
I think we did the demo 1 or 2 days, but only 6 songs, and the idea was that we didn't have much money, so idea was that you have to play everything with the first take, and also it was an old school analog studio because at the time you didn't have everything else. So if you fumbled, you had to start from over again. So I think it was 1 or 2 days exactly what we needed.
And how that was your first studio experience, right? How, like, were you nervous at all? I mean, you're like I said, you're like 14, 15 at that time period. How was your first studio experience? And what do you have like of Music Box? What are some memories you have of going into there to do the Jesus Spawn demo?
It was kind of really, of course, it felt like you are now uh, achieving something, that you are going to immortalize songs that you have done, completed with these uh, brothers of yours. This was something, and always the big kind of expectation that what comes after we have done this, that we will probably get more shows. So it was kind of done in a way that we were already looking past this demo, that what it will bring to us. And on this studio, they hadn't done anything heavier than maybe some Gary Moore style rock and roll music. And it was kind of interesting there to tell this guy, hey, we want this kind of a sound, but we had a really good kind of walking experience him. We told him that we pay the money, we make the decisions, this we like, and this guy was professional enough to understand and respect it.
And I'm probably going to say his name wrong, so I apologize. This was one of the owners because there was 4 owners to the studio, and it was Rido. What's his name, or Rido?
Frido Rydberg, he was the guy who recorded this one and the mini album after that.
Okay. And the debut comes out, the demo. And so what I thought was really cool was you guys had a thing, right? Where someone would send you $1 and did they have to send you a blank tape too? Or how did that work? Cause you guys were making them copies off of, the original.
Yeah, blank tape and $1, and then we would record it on the cassette and send it back, and also photocopy the covers.
And the response, did you guys start getting did you guys start getting letters from the States after you guys released this demo? Did you guys start seeing people catching on to what you were doing early on?
I think we needed not right at first, but with time, with maybe 1 year or so after, then with these flyers going in envelopes, we were getting interviews, we were sending cassettes to magazines and everything. So uh, it needed little bit time, but yeah, we started to, after 1 year, getting interviews and everything from States, contacts that, hey, what is this craziest thing what you guys are doing?
And you guys' first gig, that was it 90 or 91?
I think it was 90.
And do you remember the venue and some of the bands that you played with? Was it and that's all that had to be kind of like there wasn't many bands like Archgoat at that time period. So who are some of the bands you guys are playing with? 'Cause I saw some you guys played with Godforsaken at one point, Profanity and stuff, but that first show, do you remember who was on the bill with you guys?
No, I don't remember, unfortunately, who was playing with us, but it was a small club or bar where you could have an attendance of maybe 100 people, and it was called Appelsiini, orange on Finnish language, Club Orange, and it was kind of surreal feeling also for the other bands because they were combing their hairs and putting their this suicidal tendency shirts on with these collars and everything and stuff, and we were at the same time putting our corpse paints on our bullet belts, our spikes, leathers, inverted crosses, uh, then drinking blood on the backstage. And then when this first band were kind of looking at what the fuck is this band, and when they were done, they came out from the stage, and we have to walk through the audience to the stage. And this was kind of also one of those really kind of crazy moments because nobody had seen anything like this, and we were there kind of trying to get through the people. And of course, this nail bracelet helped it quite a lot, but the people were really kind of wondering that what the fuck comes next, and fuck came next. So we started to play, and I still remember that playing first time ever in front of maybe 30, 40, 50 people. I was so kind of nervous that my legs were shaking, and to kind of masquerade and even trying to uh, be on standing position, I took this kind of Michael Schenker guitar hero wide stand and played the show like this. And yeah, with time it helped, but it was kind of really, I was really nervous, and alcohol, of course, helped it.
Well, and I know, Arco, that was your first show with them, but was that your first did you play any I know the prior bands that you played with, did you play any shows before that, or was this actually your first live gig that
It
you
was
actually played?
it was the first show.
And you talked about, like, the spikes and everything. When did you guys the look you guys have a killer look too, and you guys have had it for years. When did you decide on the look, and what did you guys all sit down together and kinda, make a plan for this, or did you guys just each develop your own characters kind of, or your own looks, I should say?
Mhm. I think in so Kiss direction we didn't go that we wanted to be everything extreme, and for us we had same kind of target. So what I mentioned earlier, Kerry King and the nail bracelet. Okay, he had one cool. We made two, three, or four for one guy, and we did them all ourselves. And this was all ours kind of common target.
And you mentioned Intoxicated, like, back in the day when you guys first started, it was common for you guys to play drinking?
Yeah, I think it is kind of when with our band that is going on the stage, it's a spiritual, also like this old Finnish shaman like thing that you don't drink Coca-Cola and go on stage. You have to be in so certain mental state. And for our band, it has always been that we drink alcohol before we go on stage, but still respecting the audience and promoters that we don't go there and shit our pants. That you have to be able to play, but this is how our game goes on.
And I think what between the first few years that Arcos exists, you guys do about 20 shows. Um, did you guys ever like have the the picketers, the Christians show up at the shows? Because back at that time period, this was kind of a common thing for some bands. Did you guys get harassed at all at any of the venues?
No, we didn't. In the end, the circles were so small, and not the mainstream radios or newspapers. They didn't even touch this kind of uh, shows. So for this kind of human scum to be able to find our show would have been meant that somebody had told them, or so. No, not basically.
And early on, who were some of the bands like we mentioned of Profanity, and I know you guys played with Barathum and stuff. Like, what were some of the bands you guys are gigging with early on for your
I think
first
when I
couple years?
have to remember about the show poster with Funebre we played. Then with Disgrace we played. Deceiver, ECT, and then I really cannot remember on top of my head.
That's fine. 93, you guys put out the Penis Perverser demo, and that was that was a local show, right? In Turku, that was originally taken from a VHS tape.
That is correct, because we played the show there. Then we heard that the guy who was later going to play guitar for Xysma, he had a VHS thing which was really kind of rare at the time. He had filmed our show. We listened to it and thought about it's good enough sound. We took this cassette radio in front of the VHS and then pressed record, and so was our new demo born.
And in 93, you guys go back into Music Box Studios. I think it was January 4th, 5th, and 6th, and record the EP Angel Cunt Tales of Desecration, which again, like you said, is the same studio. So it's recorded on an analog 16 track.
Yeah, it was 16 exactly.
And you guys did get involved with, I think this was the first time you guys worked with Chris Moyan.
For this album and for our career, it was the first time that we got art from Chris Moyen. I've and myself, my brother, we've seen in art what he has done for Goat Lord. Solace of Mary, I think was the name of the album, and we were kind of really thinking that look, how these three different colors are working together. Look at this kind of the power what you get on his style like this. And right after seeing this, we contacted him and told that, hey, we are from Finland. Here's cassette for you. Listen to it, and we would be really happy to get our mini album art from you. And he answered that he will do them. He liked our stuff, and we sent him then this kind of this info that what do we want to have. So we want to have a stone slab altar, angel on the altar stone being raped by this goat, and at the same time this goat is impaling the inverted cross through this angel. The kind of funny thing to think about it was that because of the time pressure to get the mini album out, we couldn't see the cover before when we got the mini album or the flyers from Necropolis Records, and then we noticed that holy fuck, he drew a male angel, because in Finnish culture, when you think about angels, typically you were thinking about females, and this is what we ordered, but we didn't kind of clearly enough tell him, so he made the male angel. But it's regardless, we corrected it for our 30 years anniversary or 25 years anniversary thing. But this is how our cooperation started.
And the writing process back then, at least, what? So you collect riffs and you combine the riffs and then send them to the drummer, and the lyrics come at the end of everything.
When we started, we played like a traditional band that you had all the guys in the rehearsal place. We were, myself and my brother, we were doing 50 and 50% of our music, and it's kind of at the time somebody had a riff, and then we played that, and we tried to get other riffs to kind of uh, work with it. And in the beginning, it was really kind of traditional how bands make their music.
And the recording process was first drums, then you do the first guitars, then the second guitars after that for you guys, and then bass vocals.
This is how we do today, but on this back on old times in Music Box for the demo and for the mini album, we played at the same time, and this guy recorded our drums, and after these drums, myself, I played the guitar, and my brother did the bass, and I think we had 2 guitars, so I played the second guitar and then the leads, and it was then vocals and ready.
And I didn't even mention, so I thought what was cool about you guys back in the beginning was you guys switched around the instruments when you first started rehearsing, so it helped with the tempos, right? Everybody would actually switch guitar, bass, and drums.
Yeah, it was kind of I don't know where we got this groundbreaking idea, but we were thinking that you have to understand how the other guy plays, what his instrument is all about. So we really did in our rehearsals this that I went to the drums, our drummer took the guitar or bass guitar, and we switched the instruments. And also on top of this, we really practice playing fucking piss drunk, because you have to be, that was our philosophy, that whatever comes we have to kind of know it in advance. So we were changing with the instruments, we were practicing without alcohol, with alcohol, and with fuckloads of alcohol.
How about early recording? Were you guys would drinking during the recordings early on?
No, when we recorded, it was so much money for these kind of young guys, but we were, so it was really strict that we went there. And also we made these rules quite early, that for our drummer, because drums are the first instrument that really kind of drops when the guy is drunk, we made this kind of guidelines that, hey drummer, before the show you drink not more than 2 beers. For myself it was a 6-pack, for my brother a 6-pack, so it was in a way though controlled.
And I think what's interesting too is I want to mention, even though we're going to talk about recordings, you hate recording. I had heard like that's the least favorite part of you of the being in the band is actually being in the studio.
That is I'm not big fan of recording at all. It basically means it's of course really important thing to get everything correct, but it takes so much time. And in our current this kind of form, myself, I am playing 2 guitar, or first I'm playing guitar for our drummer to get the drums done, then I take the second guitar, then I take the first guitar, second guitar, third guitar, first bass, second bass, and typically I do this in 1.5 days. So it means that because I want to get out from the studio, I maybe play, and the playing is maybe 16 hours a day. So it's really kind of hard work.
And you mentioned Necropolis Records, which you guys were actually the first release from them, right? You guys were the number 1, actually, the EP that they've ever put out.
We were, I think, NR001 and Niflheim was 002. So we were first of their bands.
Yeah, and when you guys put out the Angel Cunt, you guys had a rule, right? It was no filler. Everything, you guys were kind of really selective on what you put on that.
Yeah, we the demo we did, one of the important topics with the demo is that we already looked in the distance that we wanted to get a label for us, and not any label, but we wanted to have something who could really bring something with them. And with Necropolis it went really well, and the idea was that we had at the moment few songs, but also it was difficult time because our drummer had to go to the Finnish army, so he was almost 1 year off. Then after that, it was time for us to go to the army. So this was a little bit putting obstacles in our path. And without these army things, we would have then done an album.
We're actually going to play. We're going to play Black Messiah right now, which is actually, as you told us earlier, is the first Archgoat song ever written. We're going to play that off of Angel Cunt Tales of Desecration from Necropolis Records from 1993, and we'll be back with Ritual Butcher after this song. that was Black Messiah from Archgoat. So 93, you enter the studio again, February 10th through the 12th, to record Angel Slaying Black Fucking Metal EP, which doesn't come out until 2005. What happened between Archgoat and Necropolis Records?
We have really made a contract with them that what we bring to the table and what we get from them, and if you don't keep your word with us, it's kind of one and done.
And at that time, so I'm thinking what's 93, that's when that Norway scene really starts picking up, right? And it kind of frustrated you guys. You guys started seeing the scene change locally where you were at in Finland at this time period also?
I was in Turku then, but not locally, but globally, because it was a time when Dark Throne, and kudos for them for making this great album, Blaze in the Northern Sky. But it was such a game changer album that I think none before or after have made it, because overnight you had these guys who were playing suicidal tendencies or whatever, Death Angel, uh, this kind of weak metal. These guys were suddenly overnight born as black metal guys, and the whole thing was that there was no philosophy in this game, and it was only to kind of wrap the little bit of the glory of Dark Throne to themselves, so copying their music, not putting their own soul at all into the music, and the whole scene went overnight from true limited to this kind of bloated, like some fucking McDonald's, that you have this McDonald's in every city. So this was basically what happened to black metal. And we were thinking that we put on table quality stakes. We are not kind of, we are not on this genre anymore.
And were you, it's kind of a off question, but were you into any of the Florida metal at that time period? Like any of the stuff that was coming out of Tampa or, anything out of Florida, or that did not interest you?
Obituary, Morbid Angel Death, big fan, big fan.
99, Necropolis puts out the split with Beharit, but they wanted new material from you guys, but you guys wanted nothing to do with it?
No, we were not contacted even about this split album. We
Shit.
only later heard and saw that, hey, what the fuck? We never, we changed some emails, phone calls with Beherit, main guy, Holocaust, but nobody ever asked our opinion about putting a split with them.
And just the time period when you guys stepped away, and what were you doing? You were in studies, right? Were you still jamming at all, or did you what was going on behind the scenes at that time period when you guys moved away from the band?
We left the band 95, the scene basically 96 latest, 95 I would say as well. And by leaving, it means totally leaving, not following the scene at all. And also for me, the musical interest was in Archgoat, not outside of Archgoat. So I didn't touch my guitar for 11 years when I was in hiatus, and we were off from Archgoat. And I think it was the basic thing what people do in life, that we were at the moment just out from the army, maybe 22 or something. So we were uh, pushing our lives on other kind of frontiers forward. So
How was that experience for you going with the army? Was it something you enjoyed, or just it was just what you had to do?
uh, I myself, I like being there. I was really close of staying there. I at least actually walked there 1.5 years after that. So it was something that I myself liked.
And what, around 2003 is when you start finding that urge to create music again. And at first, you attempted to do it to bring Arco back yourself.
That's correct. I started to get this kind of feeling that I want to get and start to do what we were doing, and I was trying with the other guys from local scenes who've been playing in this and that bands, and it really kind of felt totally wrong. Our old drummer told right away that, hey, I have two kids for me at the moment. I have other responsibilities. I cannot join you. My brother was everything that interested. So I tried maybe 1 year by rotating and trying with other people, and it kind of felt so unnatural and wrong that I just thought about that. Fuck it, it's not gonna work. And then maybe 1 year after, my brother got this same motivation. He contacted me, and I told that not interested. But he then convinced me to come to the rehearsal place, and the old drummer of ours, he wanted to help us to start once again. So he was coming to a rehearsal place, and it was kind of crazy moment because we haven't been playing in 11 years or something. And the drummer was the only one who's been playing his instrument, but maybe the hard work and training what we have done earlier helped that we right away basically played our set without too big fumbles. And after that, it felt that, oh shit, we have to really do. Now, myself and my brother, we were kind of looking each other and kind of, at this was the kind of game changer decision moment that we kind of felt that this is the direction we want to do this again.
And you guys still had the master tapes, right, from the Angel Slaying, black fucking metal recordings, and released it with Hammer of Hate Records out of Finland?
That's correct. We took 2 songs from that release, and we released it, I think, 2004 or something.
How many songs did you guys record originally for that?
We recorded 7 songs together.
Okay. And you guys brought in Yossi, aka Lenneth the Unholy Carnager, at that point to do live gigs with you guys?
Exactly. He was a guy who's been playing at the same time when we started in Archgoat. He was playing in old Finnish bands, Deceiver, ECT, and a really good friend of ours at the time of almost 20 years. And again, he was his kind of local hero who wanted to, in this sense that he had his bands, but he wanted to help us that till we get our permanent drummer. And I think he played something half a year or so, or 1 year with us. And exactly the whole idea was that we get the wheels running.
And then you guys replaced him with Tomas Karpinen.
That's correct.
Sinisterror, and he played guitars in Funeral Feast, Torture Killer, and you guys hook up with him. And then you did their first European tour, right? You guys, you toured with Hell Militia and Behexen in 2005.
That's correct.
You did a European tour with Black Witchery, who out of Florida. How was the first time going on tour for you guys? How was that experience for you?
Well, the biggest thing was that it was first time for us, 2005, the Behexen Hell Militia tour, that we were playing outside of the Finland. So we are a band of that era that it was really, really difficult to play abroad shows. So it was kind of really made us nervous that is it how different from playing from Finland. And the first show outside of Finland we ever played was in London. But I think it's few first evenings we played, kind of noticing that you have the kind of little bit different aspects of crowds in different countries, but it was really nice, really good experience, and this experience kind of solidified for us that we want to be a band who hopefully will be remembered as a live band instead of studio band or something.
And your first show out of Finland was the Slimelight in London with Behexen, Goat Molester, and Diabolicum?
Exactly. And these Goat Molester guys were the ones who told us how our band name should be pronounced. So they are English ones.
You guys are playing Germany, which actually, you guys, like I said, you guys did Black Witchery. You also did a split with Black Witchery in 2008. But after 11 years off, you write Horror Bethlehem record, which is recorded. Actually, this is the first one, right? Recorded in the Temple of the Blackmoon, which is the band's rehearsal space. And that captures pretty much a whole DIY atmosphere there.
I think with us, we've been kind of having the same spirit that we rehearsed or recorded the album in our rehearsal place. We had guys from our circle of friends recording everything. So we really had this do-it-yourself mentality there. And yeah, I think it was crazy because after so many years being off from the music, the kind of in our ears it sounded totally different that old Archgoat, but when it came out, people were coming, holy fuck, guys, how did you keep the same melodies again, or how did you manage to do it in the so same way as you did earlier? But it was as good as a recording session can be.
On that recording, right, you use the exact same setup as you did on the Angel Cunt, but you kind of had a different guitar sound on that.
For guitar, for that record, it was the same. I have actually here in this room with me this old Zoom effect box that at the time was really fucking expensive, something like almost 1,000 USDs. And a friend of ours got it. We used it for our Angel Cunt, this material what we recorded in '93, as well as for that and one. And I bought it from this guy, and then we used it also, and for our Horror of Bethlehem. And specifically, we had then on, I think 92, 93, before we went to record Angel Cant, we did these two custom guitar sounds, AG HG1 and HG second. So we had the two guitars there, and for Horror of Bethlehem, we used these same. I played with the BC Rich when I was younger. I played with the BC Rich, but it's kind of different technology what you use to record. So that was probably the big thing that changed the guitar sound instead of instruments or amplifiers.
And with the mix on that, you guys kept it kind of minor, so you guys still had that primal sound going on.
It's the only way we know how to do it. So yeah.
And also get the artworks by Chris Moyen on that. And that's when I noticed you guys start using the two moons, which is a sign of duality.
It is myself. I want to always not to answer this question, because in my opinion, I don't want to open things too much, because I love the situation that people have to themselves think that what they are kind of trying to tell with these symbols, and leave this room for people to think and interpret it. And in my opinion, this is the first step on this satanic philosophy, that you have to use your own brain instead of eating something that is readily chewed for you.
You guys played your first show in America in 2007. Because the record, the Horror of Bethlehem comes out September 2006. And one other thing I wanted to ask you about that before I talk about your first American show is the title of that record. The title was like the double standards. It was basically to show the double standards of Christianity, if I'm correct.
Absolutely, and I think if we would bring this same story now, 2025 years from this day to this current day, and the story that somebody is not getting dicked, and you get your belly growing, and then you have this young Jesus coming out. It's kind of, if you start your religion on this kind of nonsense, it kind of can bring nothing but this kind of idiotic people to follow this kind of folk story or whatever. And we wanted to, in our albums, to kind of show that that this one person is the most dirtiest whore in the whole picture, in this probably in the storytelling world of humanity, and then as well thought as she's most holiest. So in our opinion, whore was the best word what we came up with to kind of describe her.
Go. And you guys, like I said, you guys do the 2007 First American Show at Sacrifice of the Nazarene Child Black Metal Fest at Sam's Burger Joint in San Antonio, Texas on February 24th. How was that? So you guys play what? Thorn Spawn was on that show, Demonacy, Demonic Christ. How was that experience for you guys to first get into the States? And what was your first impression of the United States?
Well, United States was of course then really far from away from us. It was of course big thing to get to the Plato States, and we were really looking forward of it. And I think they were also Psycho, who was playing with Ritual Combat. I think Ritual Combat was as well playing there, and we met guys with whom we've been writing a lot of emails, and also with Myrmidon from the Cathedral of the Black Coat. I was maybe phone calling him every week or every second week, and we were really having a long good philosophical discussions. And it was this guy's whose dedication, hard work, and everything paid off, and this guy made the festival to happen. And we are really thankful for him for his great job. And on stage, coming to play in the States first time, it was really great for us. But as well, it had also this or the brought the problems because we were so much thought in advance that we cannot bring our bullet belts, we cannot bring our bracelets. So we basically came with all our instruments and cables alone. Then when we jumped to the van at the airport, San Antonio, we drove to the closest big supermarket. We bought leather from there. We bought nails. We bought, because we couldn't find blood, we bought cow's livers, I think, few buckets or something. And when before going on the stage, we had made our own, again, these nail bracelets, and we were squeezing these kind of livers to get the blood out of them, and then we were ready to play the show.
And that was a one-off, right? There was no tour. That was just a one show.
That was one of. We arrived on Friday. No, sorry, on Saturday morning after being traveling almost one day. 10 hours from arrival, we were already on stage, and when we had played our show, I think it was less than 3 hours, we were already getting back to the airport. So it was kind of brutal weekend, but we enjoyed getting to know our friends in the States and getting to play then in front of different audience. So it was great experience.
You know, and you've obviously through the years you've played a lot of shows and done a lot of festivals and tours now. Like I said, you don't have to answer what you don't want to answer. Has there been any bands that you've met that you had this image of that they would that were kind of dicks? Like, you know, because we've been in bands our whole life, me and Ed, so we know, you know, you have all these expectations. Personally for you, was there anybody that you met or any bands that you just were let down but when you met them?
I think when Sean had left Ritual Combat, the guys who were at the time playing on the band, they were really kind of assholes in the backstage and running towards people and had this kind of rock star attitude. Or I don't know what they wanted to kind of prove to us, but this was one band from this time of era playing in the States that I kind of was thinking that these guys are fucking jerks.
And we had Jeff Manis on here probably 2 months ago from Venom. We were talking about like they would get crazy gifts. Like he had gotten a dog head in a box as a gift before and stuff like that. Did you ever get any weird stuff on the road from fans?
I have on this. I'm doing this interview from my music room. I have on the walls of this room crazy stuff that I've been getting from big people. So there has been dog heads. I don't have received, and I don't want to receive them. Some weird artifact, human bones. These are something that I've been happy enough to got from people.
In 2009, you guys recorded the band's second full length, "The Light Devouring Darkness." Now, so this album, you know, which I don't know what part of America you lived in, and you don't have to. You like I said, you could tell us whatever you want. I know you're a pretty private person. You spent 15 years living in the States.
I spent
15 months.
15
I'm sorry.
months. Yep, about 2 years I was living in Delaware, so close to Philadelphia,
And that caused a little bit of a delay on this record.
it a little bit. I was living after this record, so I went there 2011, and this album came out on 2009. So this was the last album that we played then before I have departed to States.
You guys did 10 tracks on this one. Now, this one, you guys had a deadline on this though, right? Because I had read this as, you know, and I don't know if it still is, but is this your least favorite Archgoat record?
It is my least favorite because we found us in a situation that we had really big pressure to get the record correct time to the recording plant to get it out for our small 2009 USA tour. So this was something that really kind of did not help to get the album to be as I wanted. And myself, I kind of see it as a demo album, something that we should have done maybe half a year before the album, and then try to maybe get it to come out a little bit more. But for myself, this is exactly the album that basically after it was released, I haven't been listening to it.
Well, this was also the first time, if I'm correct, that you started sending with Chris. Chris again works on this the artwork for you, but this is the first record where you start sending him actual sketches and stuff like that of what
For
you kind
this,
of have in mind.
exactly for this album, I really kind of sent it him, and also I think starting from Horror of Bethlehem, that I sent it him a few pages long of arts that I had make pictures, cutted them, pasted, copy paste, and made this kind of sketch and tell him, hey, here's what I'm kind of expecting, and he then starts with these pieces, sent me the first sketch, and also what is great with Chris that he understands what we want from our art, so he always brings up his own ideas, and I was kind of thinking every time that holy fuck, why didn't I myself figure it out? But it's kind of comes this kind of thing that he sends me a sketch, I send him feedback, he sends second sketch, and then in 1 month or something he's done with the arts.
And the title to this, The Light Devouring Darkness, I'm trying to think how to say this the right way. The title refers to like the Christians painting a picture of Satanism being related to darkness. But then again, this is basically exposing the lies of Christianity.
This is, from my point of view, Christianity is the ultimate tool to make people stupid. It doesn't enable you to think for yourself, use your own brains. And this, in this album name, the light devouring darkness, the light devouring is Lucifer, who is eating the darkness, which is Christianity. So in a way, we reverse the thing from what you would expect.
And then 2010, Angel Slaying Darkness compilation, which is 2 discs, demos, EPs, live tracks from Poland, Texas, and Finland. Then 2011, July 7th through the 9th, you're back recording at the Temple of the Blackmoon to record Heavenly Volva, Christ's Last Rites. And you guys when you guys enter the studio to do this record, you have a goal, right? Is to make the heaviest Archgoat record at that time?
Yeah, we wanted to really kind of make this one again like a feeling like being kicked on the nuts, that you have a really heavy bass guitar sound, really distorted heavy guitars and vocals on top of everything with echo and little bit delay. And we made 4 songs that were really kind of hard and heavy, and then one slow Day of Clouds to kind of underline the fastness of the other songs. And we had for this album the same studio team that we have been using ever since. So it means Teemu Velin from he had his old studio. Nowadays, I think he doesn't have an official studio, and also Werewolf from Satanic War Master.
Is that when he started doing backups on your records, right? This was the first one where Werewolf actually started doing that?
Yeah, he wanted to. He told us that he'd be interested to join us. He knows the perfect sound engineer for us. So we told that okay, we record then, and everything. He brought up some good ideas to the table, and this demo really got from the album the sound what we wanted. And ever since we've been using this team.
In 2012, was that you guys play? You're back in the States. You play Maryland Death Fest with Morbid Angel, Autopsy, Godflesh, Mortuary Drape. Well, what was some of the highlights for you of that festival? Your first time playing Maryland?
It was first time playing Maryland, but in all honesty, myself, after we had played, I was already in 1 hour I was driving back home because my daughter was born 2 weeks before, and Delaware is kind of, you Americans know it, but it's only 1 hour far from Baltimore, so I was going back home.
You guys, and then 2013, you do a split with Incantation on Nuclear War Now, and a split with Surrender of Divinity on In Coffin Productions out of Bangkok. And then October 2nd through the 5th, the band again enters the Temple of the Blackmoon to record the band's 3rd album, The Apocalyptic Triumphator. And again, Werewolf is back as the producer on this. And there was no deadline on this, right? You guys, and that's one thing I think I've heard, you guys get frustrated with a deadline. You guys kind of want to just take your time until you're satisfied with what you have.
I think light devouring darkness little bit kind of burnt us in a way that after that this was a good lesson learned for us to make things on our own terms and everything. And this was the sorry the first album where we really demoed everything before we started to record them. So we demoed the songs one time, tried different things, and kind of looked into single riff and every single thing that can we push this one even further, or are there alternatives what we can use for the and Apocalyptic Triumphator was in a way first album that was done in this same modus what we are even doing still today.
Also on Apocalyptic, you guys also reduced the distortion on the guitars on that record.
Absolutely. This was first album that earlier we've been doing with this my Zoom distortion box, and then with PC Rich with whatever shitty pickup it had. Now for this recording I used uh, my Marshall HV410, which is the highest distortion amp head from Marshall, and I had my this Pro T Gibson Flying V with burst packer pickup, so it meant I got really this kind of a beefy good sound that I wanted for the album. And the philosophy with us and in my music making is that I want to create this kind of good riffs that make your head move. And the idea was that when you see the effort and you do good music, I wanted to little bit take the distortion down so people understand what we are playing, because for myself and this is people many times tell that Archgoat is war metal. No, we are not. Our music have idea. War metal sounds like somebody would be kind of towing their guitar behind their truck and recording it. And this is kind of, uh, and also what we've been doing ever since, that you have to make the guitar sound that it's nasty, it's morbid, it's evil, but you have to be, as a people who is listening to the album, you have to understand what we are playing.
Well, that's, you guys are a very guitar driven band. And I think one thing with you guys, and I don't know, you could tell me this, but you never believed in, how some bands, some of the black metal bands tried to make their albums sound like shit on purpose. You're totally think that's ridiculous, right?
Absolutely. And when we started to record our demos in 91, 93 mini album, we were using the best studio in the vicinity to get a good sound, because for us, even from those days, it was clear that when you release music, still maybe it was a little bit of Kiss Iron Maiden thing on back of our heads, that you have to put the musicality, because musicality or musical aspect in this kind of music is not a curse word. It's something that kind of brings emotion to the people who is listening. And if you are kind of creating music that doesn't have any emotions, it's kind of like empty lotto, in my opinion.
And at this time period, when you guys are doing the Apocalyptic record, now on Heavenly Vulva, you wrote most of that material, right? And I think this continued on this record at that time period. So I know I've also heard that, you guys are a whole. So it doesn't matter who writes all the material, most of the material and stuff. But I think from Heavenly to this, you're handling most of the writing.
I think since Heavenly Vulva, it was the first album where I was doing the music and lyrics and also song arrangements. And it's been the concept ever since. And also with Apocalyptic Triumphator, I called our drummer. We went to rehearsal place and then tried the different things I had on my mind and or what he had on his mind. But yeah, it was like this.
And you guys also you guys have a keyboardist, a guest keyboardist on this one, Diabolus. I'm going to probably say this last name wrong. Salvarium, he played with Nightside and Arsonist Lodge.
Yeah, yeah. We just out of nowhere, we were playing our rehearsals, and I think he had this, or somebody had left to the studio this kind of keyboards, and we were having this kind of old school mentality that keyboards are really kind of fucking lame. But then when we were rehearsing, he started to play these effects what we had on our album, and suddenly out of nowhere we had this kind of idea, we have to bring this thing to the live shows. But also we thought about that no way in hell on Archgoat show you will have a keyboard player on stage. So we came up with this concept that he's playing outside from this stage, but it's this concept that we are even doing still today.
And the cover art to that one, that's influenced by a sculpture done by Herman Matson called The Angel of Death Victorious.
That's correct. Graveyard in a vicinity of Cleveland, the Angel of Death.
September 2015, Archgoat plays Hell's Head Bash 2 in the Beachland Ballroom in Cleveland with Destructor. We actually had Glenn on from Destructor, Perdition Temple, Deceased, Satanic War Master, Evil Army. How was that experience for you?
It was great and also really stressful because 1 month before of this tour, we kicked out our previous drummer. So we found us in a situation that we have this really great show, but we don't have a drummer. And then Hell's Headbangers guys were really kind of like us, thinking, what can we come up with? And they introduced Adam from Manticore to us, and we discussed with him, and then decided, okay, we will try to play this show. We will come to stage 2 days before and agreed and send it to Adam this set list what we wanted to play, and he alone practiced all the songs. We came to Cleveland right away to Lou's home, sorry, and to Cellar, and we started to play with Adam. And of course, it felt a little bit different because you are first time ever playing with the guy, but he did such a great job in such a short time that we are eternally grateful for him. And we've also been calling him our fifth member because he was really the guy who kind of saw so much work to make our show possible. So, Adam, if you are listening, thank you very much, buddy. We really appreciate it.
2015, you guys also put out 13 Hymns of Finished Devil Metal with Satanic War Master, split 12-inch on Hell's Headbangers. Is that when you guys pretty much start the relationship with Hell's Headbangers? Is during the Head Bash?
We did this. We got with Werewolf this idea that he had old songs that he hadn't recorded with the proper sound. We also thought about that also now our lineup is more complicated. If we can even make faster and more kind of heavy these mini album songs. So we thought about it, got this idea, and our label, Debemur Morty, wanted to take part also Hell's Headbangers, and it became then reality.
2016, you guys hit South America for the first time. How was that experience?
2016 South America, we had at the moment, then we had already found Venom as our drummer, and we played 6 or 7 shows, and it was really a great experience because lots of bands come from Brazil or from South America that we were influenced when we were young. So in a way, it even felt like going to the Holy Land or unholy, however you want to say it, when we, for example, played in Brazil these shows, and it was it was really great and also exotic because once again we were playing in some land or continent where we kind of thought that we would never ever be able to play, but it was absolutely great, and the fans over there really kind of live up to our expectations. Really wild, crazy, good crowds.
And how did you guys? So, like you said, 2017, you guys get Goat Aggressor joins the band. How did he get involved?
We again made this decision that we want to get drummer who is little bit. We don't need the kind of machine gun speed, but we need a big heavy hand. So I just in this Finnish musicians net I noticed, there's one guy who wants to play with death black metal bands. I just called him, hey, this is Kai from Arco that check these links. If you know the band, he knew the band, and told him, hey, here are a few songs, please prepare or rehearse these songs. And when we went to the rehearsal place, he had in 2 days rehearsed 6 songs instead of the 2 which I asked. So that was impressive in my opinion, showed the dedication and everything. And he kind of brought Archgoat from this machine gun fastest little bit back, but he brought the old school heaviness and this mentality to our drumming. So I think Venom did a really great job for us, and we kind of from this wanted to take it back in the direction of old times. And Mr. Goat Aggressor really delivered, and we've been really happy to have him in the band.
2018, you guys put out a 2-song EP, Eternal Damnation of Christ. And you guys used a different artist on this, a Ukrainian artist, Kirill, aka Creator.
Kirill Svarty, this guy had been doing a lot of art for us, but mainly for the tours. For our South American tour arts, Kirill drew this standing goat demon. And myself, I really like this art, even got it tattooed on my hand. And we were thinking that, okay, Chris will always be our guy for the albums, but for 7-inch we can use. And I myself just wanted to also inform Chris that, hey man, I hope you are not kind of, this is something what we want to try with the 7-inch. And being a cool guy, he's always. And Chris, this Kirill, he made for us the art for this 7-inch, and yeah.
It's 2018. The band puts out the Luciferian Crown. Did this one go number 6 on the Finnish Billboard charts?
It went number 6 on Finnish national chart, and then on sold physical copies list, it was number 2.
And this one, I felt like, you could tell me if I'm wrong, but it kind of had the combination of Angel Cunt and Heavenly Vulva, the vibe of this record.
This is one of these, for myself, in my head, this is a kind of first album of the trilogy, where I wanted to really put some old, this death metal style heaviness to back to our music. And also this new hard-hitting drummer. So my ideas about putting really fat, beefy sound to the stringed instrument, his playing style, and also on the songs, this style on the specifically on the slow songs, this little bit death metalish touch was something that made this really kind of to be such a heavy album. Also with the lyrics, I went to some took little bit step outside of the my comfort zone. I really had decided that for this album I want to make a song about Finnish shaman who was living, I think it was 1600 or 16th century in the area where I am coming from, and he was this kind of guy who was being such a basically dick to everybody, robbing people's stuff and putting curses on everybody, and causing such a big chaos around him in South Finland that it ended up on Crown decapitating him. But I wanted to make song to this kind of rock and roll rebel of his times, and it came out good.
And how about Darkness Has Returned? That was a nod to Bathory?
This was song that I at the moment had this kind of my own project that I wanted to play my own death metal in style of every different country. So I made my Canada style black metal song, of course, in the vein of blasphemy. Then I made my Sarcophago tribute. I made my Bathory Sweden tribute, and at the rehearsal place, I just played this start of this song to Goat Aggressor. He tried some traditional Archgoat style drums for it, and it really kind of sounded everything but good. I didn't really like this. And then one rehearsal time later, he told me, "Hey, try it again." And then he came up with this taka taka taka, this kind of slow, crazy thing, and my kind of brain thought for the 2 first seconds that this sounds like shit. On the 3rd second, this sounds fucking different. This sounds great. And with this kind of fresh thinking and the ability to bring it to reality in a way that he understands what our music has to do, Mr. Goat Aggressor brought and kind of made this my own project song that's something that we put into the album, and I think after that we've been playing it on basically every single live show.
Yeah, we actually opened up the show tonight with Messiah of Pigs. 2022, you guys put out a live record that was recorded at a Servants of Chaos showcase in 2019. The album was titled Black Mass.
Yeah, we played then our 30 years anniversary show in France, and we had the idea that, okay, this has to be something special because 30 years is 30 years. So we took our discography, and from every single release we played a song, and we started with Black Messiah, the first song. So we played our mini album songs, then we played for our 1993 these unreleased songs. Then we went to play Penny's Perverso, then we went to Horror of Bethlehem, Light Devouring, and in this chronological order. And in mid of the show, I think we had 5 minutes break and then back on the stage. And I think the music alone was something like 1 hour, at least 1.5 hours. So we basically played all catalog, and the idea was that we will on same evening show people how much and how little Archgoat has changed.
Now, that 2020, you guys also lost 2 U.S. tours, right, to the whole COVID thing that was going on.
That's correct. We had a agreed tour and everything, but COVID kind of blew our plans.
So we're going to talk about the Worship the Eternal Darkness record. So I'm going to play Worship the Eternal Darkness from 2021, and we'll come back and talk to Ritual Butcher about this album right after this track. This is Worship the Eternal Darkness.
I
That was Archgoat with Worship the Eternal Darkness. So 2021, you entered the studio in June to do Worship the Eternal Darkness record. You on this record, right? You have a thing where you always try to bring what Archgoat's built as, but you always try to push the boundaries a little bit on every record, so it's never exactly the same.
I think this was the first album that I was already had moved to Germany, so I was here, the other guys in Finland, and basically we had to learn a new way of how do we bring the pieces together. So I was myself making songs, and right away when I had a ready song, I sent it to the guys. Hey, here is my idea how this song is. In my ears, it's complete. Please come up with the good ideas how we can get it even to be even better. And with some songs, the guys had ideas for me. With some songs, they kind of thought like myself that this is good. Let's leave it this way. And with this kind of modern way, we were we got the music and everything ready. I came to Finland 3 days before the rehearsals with band. We rehearsed the songs first time live and made little adjustment, and then right away we went to the studio. And this was we did album and the following mini album we recorded in 2 days.
And lyrically, the approach was the apocalypse and the end of Christianity.
This was what we wanted to bring with this album, because the end times calling for Christianity, and this all looking how the frail, sick structure, fragile structure of Christianity crumbling with all these pedophile scandals and everything. So this was something that I wanted to bring as a little bit aspect. And on the mini album, there was even one song dedicated to this kind of child predating beasts.
And again, you have Werewolf doing backups on this. You had a guest synth player. I don't know. Again, I'm probably going to butcher this name, but Vanam.
He was the guy who he played the drums for us for 2 years, also in the United States tour, South American tour. So it was good example that when something ends, something also can start. So he was helping us coming up with these effect keyboard ideas, and also there we had our newest member who took the responsibilities of the effects and the keyboards from this moment on. And yeah, it was the first time with this current lineup that we made an album.
2022. You guys play Hellfest in France, Under the Black Sun in Germany, Beyond the Gates in Norway, Cosmic Void Fest in England. You guys play Prague. What are some of your favorite festivals to play that you've been involved with?
For reason or some myself, I always love playing in London, and specifically in Camden Underworld. This is regardless what is it what is the name of the festival, but this is something where I've been really liking to play. And also the Norwegian festival. I have to check now. I have all my old show passes here. EF Hole in the Sky, I think it's the name of the festival, and also Steel Fest. Steel Chaos is something really kind of special for us, like our Turku festival, Turku Saatanalle, Turku for Satan. This would be the kind of, and the more I'm thinking, then I want to throw the Bangkok shows. There are kind of so many good promoters making it possible for us to play that we are happy with this.
And I heard a story. I'll have to. We actually had Jerry on this show 2 months ago from the Raw 2 channel, and I'm going to ask you about the story because I heard he had done an interview with you a couple years ago, maybe, and you had a gig where you had a larger lady hop up on the stage and step on your pedals and stuff.
This was we were playing our 2017 tour with Bölzer and X of Gomorrah. We played in Lucerne in Switzerland, and I had this basically your normal guitar pedal with casted steel or casted iron casing, and playing just our set, and was looking that there's something going kind of blocking the sun from me and was looking that there comes this, is it truck or what, this big fucking lady coming and step on this pedal of mine, kaput, and all the sound died from my guitar. And being a gentleman that I just helped her off this stage, and by helped, like old school gentleman that I am, not kicking her fat ass. But after this, yeah, it's kind of her mini Kerry King kind of wanted to escalate the things, and we got into a physical uh, altercation. But it was kind of the outcome was that my show was good, but my pedal wasn't anymore living.
Do you have much problems? Like, because what your thing is, get up on the stage and get off, right? Don't stay up there and like, hang out. Like, have you had many problems with fans during live gigs when you're playing, or do most people respect your space?
It's on certain countries you kind of know what to expect. North Italy is really wild. We played always when we've been playing there, and this is kind of respect to those guys. They live with the moment on the music, and they give energy for us. But we had brought from Finland this inverted cross from 2x4s we had done with this foldable this cross beam, and the whole cross was maybe 1.5 meters long, so almost 5 feet, and it hung from the ceiling from the chain. And when we started to play, Italian maniacs rushed the stage. They tear the cross down from this ceiling, and they wanted to break, and they broke it to the stage, and that was perfectly okay. But when he bumped it like this behind him, I was playing guitar there, and I got this whole two
Oh
by four
shit.
to my top of my head, but I really didn't miss too much notes. So this was maybe the one moment that wasn't too happy. And also with our singer, Angel Slayer is kind of quite often getting the mic to his mouth when he's singing. There are people who don't understand that when they grab the microphone, that it hits the guy and normally right into his fucking teeth. So that's something that he's been always remembering to keep these people back on their mouth, kind of as a paying the favor back.
South America's probably some of the craziest fans you've been around.
I think in Russia the fans were always really wild. They really live to it. Then in France we have had really good audiences, and always for me France is one of the places that always when we get the possibility, I'm really happy and looking forward of it. In Thailand, in Asia, I think it would be unfair to say that some country is better, because you have people who enjoy the music as much without really going bananas. And for myself, I respect it that you interpret our music in a way that it brings the most for you, because we are there to play our show for you. So you like to showcase, you enjoy in this way, be my guest.
And you mentioned, I know you guys played in Moscow and St. Pete and stuff, and St. Petersburg. How does it, as a band, how hard is it now that you can't go, like, you can't really go to Russia and play right now? And not the political side of it, but personally for the fans, right? Because the fans aren't involved in all the shit that's going on out there. I mean, with all the wars going, the average metal fan probably wants nothing to do with all the shit that's going on in the world. Is that hard for you guys to not be able to go to those places and play right now? And who knows when?
Yeah, exactly. Who knows when? We have had a lot of good friends in Russia, good audience, good bands. We've been sharing the stages with off-stage good experiences, and the hospitality over there has been something great. In a kind of same way with UK and the Brexit, because earlier we had at least every second year shows in UK. But now with Brexit and everything, it means like in the States that if we would go to play in the UK, somebody would have to pay the visas, and it costs so much more than earlier. So it means also that England has put them into a situation that you cannot go there as often as you would want to.
definitely. In 2022, so this is the same sessions though as the last record, right? For the Worship the Eternal Darkness, you guys put out All Christianity, and it's released 4 tracks. And again, all written during that the Eternal Darkness LP, but separated. Um, so with this one, you guys wanted to get for this release in 2022. You guys wanted to kind of catch that raw sound, a stripped down sound of Angel Cunt on this one.
This album was, we named it that this is a natural continuity from Angel Cant. And when on this composing phase, we had 13 songs, and from these 13 songs, we divided that these 4 are the ones which we will not polish at all. These are the mini album songs, and we recorded them with exactly same setup, but we changed the kind of there we put the kind of distortion back to the old school this position, but we recorded them right in the same session, and also what was a little bit different there, that with the sound guys, he knew in which direction to take it, so he did his first this round of mastering. I listened to it, gave him few feedbacks. He corrected them, sent it me back. I then a second time did this correction list, and then we, I think it was not more than 1 month after we had stopped the recording, we had the completed mini album there.
And so now you guys, have a new album written, or I know you guys were. I heard you guys were working on a new record. What is the status right now of the next
Status
Archgoat?
is music is done for 9 songs, so it means all the songs are complete. Now I'm done with this lyrics for 5. So it means for us, we always do our albums with 9 songs. That is our own thing. So it means that we are really far with this album. We have already decided that we will record it on week 3 on next year. So it means that now, again, back to the concept of being master of your own time usage, I still have time. And if I get inspiration or something, then it means that we can maybe record something extra and do like last time. So we wanted to leave it in this way, that I have still my possibility to even have a summer holiday instead of every day busting my balls with music.
And you probably have Chris do the artwork on this again.
Absolutely. He has already received 2 sketches, one going into the front cover and other one going into the back. And then we have also schedules about him when he starts to send me his sketches. So everything is going. I think now we are taking even more time before earlier.
And you guys also have the Worship the Eternal Darkness coming up, right? Tour 2025. I know you guys just got back. You guys played shows. What was it? 2 months ago? 3 months ago? You guys got back from doing gigs.
We played our last show in, I think, 2 or 3 weeks ago. We played in Bulgaria and Romania, and before that we played our tour in South America, Latin America.
You guys are going back to Asia too this year, correct?
We have good shows coming there. Again, favorite places: Singapore, Thailand. Then we have a new shows, 3 in China, where we have never played before. So expectations are good, big. Then also we play there in South Korea.
And you guys have a good following over there. You guys did that split also with Surrender of Divinity. You guys actually so you enjoy playing the Asian shows.
I like playing Asian shows. It's the atmosphere and the crowds are really going bananas over there. They really kind of show the appreciation, that they respect all the effort it took for you to go there, and also when you are on stage and you have this kind of animated audience, it gives you so much this energy and this kind of overkill mentality, that I really want to give every last drop of me on this stage.
And when do you guys have any plans for the States coming up at all?
Which states there are something on our back of head regarding the new album, but it's now on the drawing block only.
Okay. How do you, what's your opinion on, obviously in the States, there's been a lot of, there's actually have the Metal Threat going on there in Chicago this year, which is a hell of a lineup. You have like Destroyer 666, Satanic War Master. I mean, the list goes on. It's a crazy lineup. They've had problems there with obviously Antifa, right? Everyone canceling shows and shit like that, which is ridiculous. But I mean, it's like a plague that happens. Do you guys ever, well, you're not in Finland anymore. I don't think is that a problem in Finland? And what's your opinion on the whole canceling bands, for no reason, half of them?
I think it's so stupid as something can be that it's just like with tax office that they can throw shit on you and then it's your job to kind of prove them wrong. And it's something that basically they did the same with us with Steelfest. I think few years ago we have to cancel after the feedback from our booking agency and our record label. And this was the first and last time that we kind of think that okay, now it affected us, but it's not going to be anymore. I think basically the thing is that with these years in active service, what we have with Archgoat left, it's kind of unevitable fact that we are not playing many years anymore because of certain things. But the thing is that we will do in our own. We once cancelled one show. After that, it's not gonna be happening anymore. And for these people, I have no fucking respect because they kind of we are the most anti-political band in the black metal history of the world. And if somebody starts to mention us be a Nazi band or something. I just think that they have some brain chromosomes in wrong position. They can maybe not read our interviews with the constant opinion that we play devil's music. We don't play political music. For me, NSBM stands non-satanic black metal. It's trash, has nothing to do with Satan, Lucifer, Lightbringer. We play old school black metal and period. So easy. So these people, maybe I can now dedicate little fuck you.
The perfect way to put it. And looking back, you're at what, 36 years now? Like, how does that? What I've actually heard you say that the band just keeps on rolling. To you, it's just this natural progression, right? You guys just keep on going. Is it amazing when you look back and say, "Holy shit, we've been around that long"?
Absolutely. And I've been in a way telling to the guys after moving to Germany and when we did Luciferian Crown that okay guys, I think our musical thing was here. Then came new album and it's kind of this band is something that I fully in a way tried to kill for many years, but I cannot kill it. So I'm kind of now the new music is coming. I'm enjoying more than ever playing on this band. We have a best possible lineup. We have a fucking killer album coming on. So myself, I'm again telling you that it's few years and we are done, and then we are doing after 15 years. And after 14 years and other this interview that are called 50 years in service.
Yeah, hopefully we're all still here then. you know, uh, and and you guys are playing Steelfest. You guys, which day do you guys play?
We play, I don't even know, but we play on the same as Apsu, and we are the direct support for Apsu. So I think this is probably the big one because they are headliner for this day.
Man, I got to say, Ritual Butcher, we do appreciate you. I know we took some time from you tonight, man. We appreciate you coming on. Anybody who wants to find anything to do with Archgoat, where would be the best place to send them?
I would say absolutely to our live shows because this is where we are putting our as a personas and our music. We are there in a way against everybody. We are on the stage. We are representing as purely as anybody can our music and this kind of thing about what the old school black metal was everything all about.
And before I let you go, I'm going to ask you because I know you're a beer guy. What is it? What is your favorite kind of beers?
At the moment, after tasting, I think about 1,500 different beers in 10 years. Living here in South Germany, this Weizenbier, what they have here, it's kind of something that it's keeping me almost here.
you go. Well, again, man, we want to thank you for coming on the show tonight. We're going to say goodbye to you in a minute. We're going to play another track. We're going to play Night Prayer off the Christianity Ends 4-track you guys put out. Anything else you want to say on your way out of here?
Well, Ed, Tony, thank you very much for really interesting interview. Always pleasure to do interviews with people who are really kind of digging a little bit and want to also understand what this band is all about. So thank you guys, everything, and all the people listening to this. Like mentioned, come to our shows to see how black metal was supposed to be played.
We're going to play Archgoat with Night Prayer off All Christianity Ends from 2022. And again, Ritual Butcher, we appreciate you.
Thank you. Thanks, man.
This is Archgoat with Night Prayer. We'll be back on the Tampa Morgue with me and Ed after this track.
Lord Lucifer, hear my prayer in wisdom and in strength. Lord Lucifer, hear my prayer. Christians, you will fall.
And that was Archgoat with Night Prayer off All Christianity Ends from 2022. And we are back on the Tampa Morgue. And again, man, another great interview. I mean, you know, I definitely, Ritual Butcher was a great guest, man. What do you think, Mr. Webb?
It was pretty intense in the beginning, man. I mean,
Yeah.
I know people can't see what we see because we're not doing video, but he was serious looking at first, and then he kind of loosened up, and it was killer. I mean, I think what happens, and me and you have said this 1,000 times so far, that people don't know what they're getting into on this, and then about 10 minutes in, they
appreciate it more when
they start to realize that, oh, okay,
these guys take it serious.
we tell them kind of what we're gonna do before we record. We're gonna play songs. We're going to talk about their history. I don't think they understand when you say you're going to talk about their history, that you're going to talk about from the time they came out of the womb. I mean, literally, you know what I mean? I mean, from like jump, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't think they get it. I think they think history of their music careers, not their actual history. And I think people just, because what did he say? You're making my brain think. Like, you made my brain. We stimulated him because.
Well, I think they know we take it serious when we do it, right? Like we take it very serious when we do this show. We don't. It's not. I mean, we enjoy it, but it's we take it. I guess the best way to put it is we take it serious.
So, I would say this is like a job, because the work that we put into doing this. See, this isn't just hitting a button on YouTube and going, "Hey, let's do an interview," and you do an interview and you hit, stop and upload it. That doesn't work. There's a lot of shit that goes on from start to finish afterwards, that me putting the whole show together. It's
Getting
a lot.
The volumes right and shit. Like
it's a lot, man. There's a lot of times where there's stuff in there that you don't hear because I took it out. And I'm not talking about stuff they said. I'm talking about background noises.
Yeah.
We try to make it sound. I want this to be authentic. There's going to be a dog barking. There's going to be a cat meowing because it's
totally
heat.
cool.
I mean, my house is a zoo.
A rat getting its neck snapped.
I wish we would have caught that, because I would have fucking been awesome. Yeah, I felt bad. My daughter's like, "That's a living creature." I go, "It's a living creature that's eating my sheetrock, wants to come through the fucking ceiling." So no, we're not. I don't. I'm sorry. He shouldn't be in my house. But yeah, he was great, man. It was a great episode. I would, when I don't chime in a lot, because there was one part where he was talking about the festival in England, and it's called Kid Hellfest. I played it. Napalm Death played that year. We played. I got a friend. His name's Gaz. He's from England, and he always posts it every year on the memory, how great of a show it was. And I remember it was a great show. Killer little club. And, if usually a lot of people will tell you, I think he even said that England, some of the places in England were his favorite places to play. So, or one of the, his favorite places. So yeah, definitely, it was a great interview.
What was cool with Ritual Butcher was he, I've listened to that band for years, and you kind of sometimes you're like, I don't know, do I ask this band to come on? Like, do I, some of these more obscure bands or bands you don't see, like, you see some bands everywhere all the time, but dude, it was easy as shit. I got a hold of them. It was like we said, I would probably say the time and date was set in the first 24 hours with no problem, because people don't, it's weird, man. Me and you've talked about it off the record too. And we've gotten some fan mail. I mean, we have some mail. I don't want to call it fan mail, but we've gotten some mail that eventually in the next couple weeks, we're going to do our own episode pretty much, or kind of an episode where we're on a little bit more. We can do some of this because our episodes have been really long lately because we've had guests every week. But we live in a time period now where a lot of bands that were underground bands when we were growing up, hey, we're underground, we support the underground, blah, blah, blah. Well, now those bands are big and they're not easy to get a hold of. You can't get a hold of all those for the underground bands that 20 years ago were flying the flag for the underground. Now they're big time now in that industry, and they, it's not as easy as.
Well, they also have agents and stuff too.
We don't go through a lot of that.
So, we don't want to deal with that.
We're very fortunate. We do a lot of our booking on our own. About 97%.
This show sparks a lot of shit. I mean, I don't want to give anything away, but obviously we have somebody that we had on recently that's asking us to do some stuff with them now, which turned out to be pretty fucking cool. I've got a resurgence in this Destined to Ruin bullshit that I thought I was going to put to bed forever. And
We got the crooked casket. We got Mr.
Yeah,
Palmer
man. I
doing
mean,
some
I'm
drums
starting
for
to.
us.
I literally just bought a whole new recording setup to get myself ready to start getting more stuff, my personal stuff. Not monstrosity or my personal, and me, things I do with you and whatever things we do with Jim Ross. We could do it when we want, because it seems like we're starting to, like, that itch is there again. You know what I mean? And the podcast helped get that
Yeah.
there.
Met a lot of cool musicians, and we've a lot of stuff going on in the background. We have some cool stuff in the works as always, and Ed, you're 100% right. Like, there was a period where I kind of kind of faded away, where I was
You
like,
were
I didn't
toast,
really,
bro. You didn't want to do it no
yeah, I
more.
was burnt out, man. I was like, after Generic Christ for 20 years, I was like, man, I need a break. And now I'm starting to feel it again. So that's a great thing. And like you said, we're always busy on this with this podcast. Like, we have another band coming on tomorrow that we're going to interview for next week's episode. And we always have something in the works. Like, right now, there's probably like 5 bands in the mix that's going to come on. We just have to figure out when, schedules. Especially right now, you got 3 different, whoever it is. Say we got someone coming on from, I don't know. Say they're coming on from Germany or Norway or Spain. Then you got their time zone. Then you have my time zone over here in Eastern Europe right now, and then you have Ed's time zone in Tampa. So it's a lot to figure out, but we do it, and we'll be back. Me and Ed, we'll be back at it tomorrow. Yeah, we'll be back at it tomorrow, man.
Yeah.
And this is episode 89, and it's funny, I was telling my wife too. She's like, "Oh, you're getting close to 100." I go, "Yeah, you know what that really means?" She goes, "What?" I go, "Fucking nothing, really, because the next week we'll be doing 101."
Right.
Like, it's what it is.
It's a milestone we were looking to, but it's kind of like a birthday. You get there and you're like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Yay. I'm not going to come home to a 100 in balloons on my wall. Nobody's celebrating it. So
just all 100 means is the next day we got to get another band for the next week. So
that's right.
That's pretty much.
Yeah, exactly.
We're trying to fill up. I mean, not to be, what is it? Transparent, to be truthful. Like, we're trying to get a couple episodes done, a couple extra episodes, because I got some family coming into town. Ed's got a show to do, actually.
No, I'm going out of town.
Oh, you're just going out of town? Okay.
Yeah, I'm just going out of town.
Yeah, so we have stuff
with the family for my birthday, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Kendall.
Speaking
my daughter,
of 100.
my 19-year-old fucking daughter.
19 years old.
Yeah, man. She paid for the whole vacation. She's awesome. I mean, I don't
hope my kids hear that. I hope I'm not in a vase by that time period when it's time to to do that. But
you started out way later than I did, my friend.
Yeah, I put myself behind the whatever the hell it is, 8 ball or whatever. But
it's good though, because I'm still in a fighting spirit that if somebody steps over a line, I can still crank their fucking neck, and
That's why I married 10 years younger. I'll have to have my wife will have to go out and fight.
You better fucking get her on her jujitsu or whatever she needs. She better start fucking getting a rolling pin ready.
They call me Old Man Anderson in the neighborhood. But episode 89 in the books. And Ed, I don't have much more to say to you. I'm pretty. It was a great episode.
I'm burnt.
Yeah, I want to thank Ritual Butcher, definitely, from Archgoat, for coming on and hanging out with us. And we have the guys from Heimland coming on next week. And again, everybody, if you didn't hear the big spiel in the beginning, we have a bunch of episodes you can go listen to on anywhere to listen to podcasts.
I'll cut your throat.
I'm not doing that again, man. I'm not doing that again tonight. Throat. We're going to shoot a commercial. Well, not shoot a commercial. We're going to record a commercial so we don't have to run through the names.
Sunday.
Yeah. 100. I mean, once we get to 100, I mean, when I was thinking of all those shows that we did, and I'm like
you know how we got to do it is like those crazy Eddie commercials. Yes. Just say them real fast, and that'll be,
Anybody from Jersey will know who. I guess anybody our ages from Jersey will remember Crazy Eddie. So ranks right up there with the Ground Round.
Insane.
He got in a lot of trouble, Crazy Eddie, actually, because he was doing a lot of bad shit. But Ed, you ready to get the hell out of here?
Let's make like a tree and get the fuck out.
Everybody who listens, we appreciate you. We'll be back next week on the Tampa Morgue for that'll be episode number 90. You can get a hold of us at thetampamorgue@gmail.com. Metal Brett, Ed's got some songs coming for you, and anybody else you need to reach out to us, hit us up, and we'll respond. Everybody have a good night. We'll see you next week on the Tampa Morgue.
See ya.
This is King Fally from Deceased, and you just listened to another episode of the Tampa Morgue. Tune in next week and stay fucking dead.